उवाच प्रजहाति यदा कामान् सर्वान् पार्थमनोगतान् आत्मन्येवात्मना तुष्टः स्थितप्रज्ञस्तदोच्यते दुःखेष्वनुद्विग्नमनाः सुखेषु विगतस्पृहः वीतरागभयक्रोधः स्थितधीर्मुनिरुच्यते यः सर्वत्रानभिस्नेहः तत्प्राप्य शुभाशुभम् नाभिनन्दति न द्वेष्टि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता यदा संहरते चायम् पूर्णोऽङ्गारीव सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणि।
ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानंदं कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम्. In the 54th verse, it starts with Arjuna Uvacha, meaning Arjuna is asking, Hey Keshava, what is the disposition of one who is situated in a divine consciousness? How does he get enlightened? How does he develop this Sthira Buddhi? How does he sit? How does he walk? And what does he mean whenever he deals with his life? Here, Samadhistasthya means this word says for the person who attains the Samadhi sthiti or the status of meditative consciousness in yoga, which is luminous mind, which is equanimous and mindful. Sthita prajnasya is the word used for a seeker who is calm, contented, firm in judgment and wisdom. It is a combination of two words, sthita meaning firmly resolved and prajna means wisdom. It means the person has steady wisdom after renouncing all the desires of mind and is fully satisfied with his mind fixed in Supreme Being, that is Bhagavanta. There is no difference between sadhane means a performance and siddha accomplished with the spiritual enlightenment or attained paranormal capabilities, because both sadhane and siddha are there in the sthita prajna. In karma yoga, the plight of sadhane and siddha is same. There is no difference between them. For example, late Sri Shivakumara Mahaswamiji, who lived for 111 years, was educating and feeding around 10,000 children every year continuously for 86 years. This is a sadhane of a selfless service of karma yogi, and at the same time it is the siddha called as a walking God, as he was enlightened and a divine with the divine capabilities. Arjuna asks how enlightened person speaks and asks ka bhasha means the vani or the speech of the person whose mind is steady and firmly resolved in Supreme Being is prabhasheta. That means etymology of the origin of kimasit means listening. Prajekitam means how one behaves for these gracious people. And Arjuna, the owner of this Shri Krishna, starts as Bhagavan Uvacha. So after Arjuna's questions to answer, Krishna starts in the 55th verse. He says, O Pruthanandana, when one discards all selfish desires and cravings of senses that torment the mind and becomes satisfied in the realization of the self, such person is said to be transcendentally situated, and he is sthita prajna. Here, prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthaha manogatat means continuously not getting desires and greed in mind. Jahati means detaching without having any iota of desire. For example, Sri Siddheshwara Swamiji of Jnana Yoga Mandira, Vijayapura, he wears the shirt without any pockets and doesn't possess anything on him. Atmano Vatmana Tushtaha means when we renounce all the selfish desires completely and is satisfied and happy with oneself for his own actions. Happiness are of two types. One happiness is guna or feature or nature. The other one is the happiness is in the form. For example, happiness caused by not having any desires in the mind is a natural happiness. When unpleasant, unhappy feelings is not there in the mind totally, and if that feeling is removed, that is the feeling or a form of happiness. So, Sthita Prajna Saduchyate, when various types of desires are removed from the mind, one feels at ease and relieved, and that state is called as Sthita Prajna. His mind and nature gets stabilized. In Karma Yoga, for the seeker, his actions or karma are important. Therefore, Aruksher Mute Yogam Karma Karana Vichyate means with karma or deeds alone, a seeker reaches the state of achiever. On becoming an achiever, he gets the name, fame, respect. For example, the great teacher Sri Sarupalli Radhakrishnan got the respect for the teachers and became a role model for all the teachers. A karma yogi, as he is doing karma or actions, he gets detached from all the other things, as he is totally involved in his work. This is said by Sri Krishna as karmayaha pashedya karmanicha karmayaha. The meaning of the words prajahati means common sarvat, means there should be not even an iota of desire left in the mind. Renounce completely, otherwise the desires will become obstacles to reach the Supreme Being, says Paramatma. In verse 56 and 57, Sri Krishna answers to the questions of how Sthita Prajna person speaks. Sthita Prajna does not get disturbed when distressing things happen, do not crave for worldly pleasures, does not emotionally develop instability or anger, revenge is not there. Such a person is calm, contented, firm, wise, judgment and study wisdom, and the mind is fixed in Supreme Being. Dukkeshtanu dvigna manaha, the one does not get worried or anxious when unpleasant things happen. And while working, this becomes obstacles. The insults and the criticism do not disturb the mind, because when one is working for others, for the good of the world, there will not be any confusion, anxiety or the worry. So this is an example for each one of us. When we are working, we get so many criticisms, so many problems, so many obstacles, but we should not get disturbed by that and focus only on our action and our goal. Sukheshu vigata spruha means not change occurs even when work is excellent and others are celebrating with joy. So even if the whole world is celebrating, we should remain calm. Vitaraga bhaga krodaha, in those who are greedy and craving for something, they get worried if they don't get what they wish for. Like the child throwing temper tantrum when does not get the toy the child wants. Such persons have weak mind, and as a result they become angry or irritable if things do not happen the way they want. But if one is selfless and he is doing for the society, there is no love, hatred, anger, revenge in them. In the 12th century saint Akka Mahadevi says, when I was born, I was born in this samsara as an ignorant person. That made me greedy, and the greed made me get angry. When I became angry, my vision got clouded. Oh Lord, I forgot you in the milli. Hence, this is, please take care of me and so that I can reach you. And further, this is how we all have to remain sthita prajna and ward off our ignorance and aim at the Almighty. Here Munihi is the one who has won over the kama, krodha, that is desire and anger, who all the time maintained and became the power of the mind. With the attitude has to be positive. And that positive attitude is Bandaddella Barali, Govindana Dayirli. That means whatever happens, let it happen, but let there be grace of God. And that is the attitude that each one of us should have. Sri Krishna also tells Arjuna to develop such positive attitude. In the next 57th verse, Sri Krishna says, one who remains unattached under all conditions and is neither delighted by good fortune or dejected by tribulations is the sage with the perfect knowledge. Rudyard Kipling, a famous British poet, has encapsulated the essence of this verse of Sthita Prajna by Sri Krishna Paramatma in his famous poem If. And that says, if you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make the thoughts your aim, if you can meet with the triumph and disaster and treat those two important just as the same, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that is in it, and which is more, you will be a man, my son. This is the natural way of living, and want to reach the state of enlightenment which Sri Krishna describes to Arjuna. That means we have to be unperturbed and only focused in one thing, and that is doing the good work for the society. Tasya prajna pratishthaita means his mind is steady, fixed in Paramatma, Almighty, who is eternal and immortal. Everyone on this, including divine persons like Rama and Krishna, had challenges. They had enormous problems in their lives. But nobody has the right to say it should not happen this way, that should happen like this way, and we should not have the list of wishes. That way one trusts the Lord and stops worrying. That man reaches the great heights in life, and there is no doubt about it. And even for Rishi Muni, sometimes they cannot control their anger and temper, but one can, if they can control their indriya and control their mind. Sri Krishna gives example and explains in the 58th verse, the one is able to withdraw the senses from their objects just as the tortoise withdraws its limbs into its shell, is established in divine wisdom. Why Lord Krishna gives example of tortoises? When tortoise withdraws all the 6 parts, including its head and the legs inside the shell, only the back of the shell is seen. In the same way, in a sthita prajna, a balanced mind withdraws his panchendriya, that is the 5 indriyas, senses, along with the mind, which is the 6th sense. And as a result, when all the 6 senses are withdrawn, he becomes sthita prajna. Only the hard shell is seen outside. Attempting to quench the cravings of senses by supplying them with their desired objects is like trying to douse fire by ghee. The fire will not go, but it will flare up. Therefore, Sri Krishna states that and describes never go away when they are fulfilled, they only come back with more demands. That is, fulfilling desires never establishes happiness or satisfaction. But when we learn to discard all the desires to find divine bliss in the Supreme Being mind and the senses are satisfied, then we cannot change the world, but we can change our own attitude by withdrawing our senses and mind towards the inner soul. We can attain liberation. Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Shubham.